Hello and welcome to the Suffolk Business Podcast. We are joined today by Emily from Mortimer Jewellery. Hello, Emily.
Hi.
How are you doing? You right?
I'm very well, thank you.
Good. Thanks for joining us. Emily, tell us a little bit about Mortimer Jewellery and how it started, kind of the journey so far.
Okay, so I started Mortimer Jewellery in September 2015. I had been working for a jeweller in London for around 5 years. I'd done a jewellery degree. I worked for fine jewellers in Suffolk for a year, and I just felt that April I'd flown out to India and I'd found a workshop, and it was just felt like it was time. Originally I thought, I'm going to wait a year, but I got back to work in London and I just thought, no, I can't do this anymore. I need to do it for myself, and I kind of didn't see London as somewhere that I wanted to be forever, so I think it sort of all tied in together and I took the plunge.
Yeah, well done. Well, that's a big decision to make.
Yeah, it was a really big decision to make, but I think finding the right workshop was always sort of crucial, and when you find somewhere like that and you can see what they can create, it kind of makes everything else a little bit easier. So yeah, it's definitely like a lot of savings and everything plunged in, but yeah, you have to take the risk, I think.
And that started 2015?
2015, the first thing I did, as advised by my dad actually, who's got his own business, he's a farmer. So he said, write a business plan, speak to my accountant, who's now my accountant, has been since Squat & Bland in Ipswich, and we'll go from there. But I had no clue about running a business, like absolutely nothing. Yeah, I guess I generally thought that if you sold a bit of jewellery, you'd get the money, put it in your pocket, and you paid everything, and that was fine. But it's just not like that. So it's definitely, I'd say, last year was quite a big year for me, and then this year sort of topped that off, and I'm kind of getting to the point where I want to be. But it's taken a good 3 years to get there, and kind of no salary, and I think that's probably one of the hardest things when you start something like this is, you're probably working the hardest you've ever worked in your whole life for the smallest amount.
Why jewellery as well? Is that something that you've always been interested in, or?
This threw everyone, to be honest. I grew up on a farm.
I was going to say, it's a bit of a different.
Yeah, it's a bit of an odd one. No one really knows like how you even go down that path. So at school, I guess, it was either geography or art were my thing, and when it gets to A levels, you're like, which way am I kind of going to go? And I did really well at art, so and everything I was doing ended up being quite 3D and creative. So I spoke to various people about what I needed to do if I wanted to do any kind of art degree, and they said, I need to do a foundation course to build up a portfolio for a year. So I went to Leeds College of Art and did a year there, and then I got into London Metropolitan, which I think looking back now, I definitely wouldn't have done a degree in jewellery. It was it's a big waste of time, because you just don't learn the things that you need to learn. To learn about jewellery and gemstones, you need to work for other people and then do sort of short courses, so gemology short courses, diamond courses. So you sort of really get that in detail, but you don't learn anything about gemstones or diamonds on a jewellery course.
So what do you learn on a jewellery course then?
The people who got first were people who made their jewellery out of sugar crystals, so that just goes to show really.
Yeah, okay.
Which is fine at uni, but when you get in the real world, it's just unrealistic that you're ever going to make a living off something like that.
It's this whole uni debate, isn't it? Like,
yeah, definitely.
What do you go to uni for? To study for what kind of jobs? So that's interesting. So jewellery is another one where you learn from experience.
Yeah, and I think it was the kind of recession then as well, so there wasn't loads of apprenticeships. I think I left uni thinking I'm going to go to a workbench and be making it all myself, and I was going to be able to get a job, like a well-paid job doing that, but that's just not the case. There aren't those jobs unless you're doing it for yourself or you're very specific, so you're a stone setter or you're a polisher in Hatton Garden. So it's never specifically that job. So then after working for Aspens for a year in Suffolk, which I loved, they're a jewellers in Woodbridge, they help me with loads of things now. They're two brothers. I learned loads from working there, and then to go work for Kiki McDonough, was the jeweller that I worked for in Sloane Square. A completely different setup. Her pieces she designs, and then I design for her as well. Her pieces are made in a different country, and you get the most amazing pieces made, and that's a much better system. And actually, if I was to make now, there's no way I'd have time.
No. So you get your stuff made in India? Is that
Yeah,
right?
so I design everything.
Yeah.
It's then I speak to my workshop in India, I send them my initial designs. We then create a 3D CAD design, which is then tweaked if need be, and then I choose the gemstones that I'd like it to be in. They send me the quotes, and it sort of goes like that.
And how quick is that turnaround normally?
For a new collection, I'd say definitely 8 weeks, maybe a little bit longer, because there's just lots of like sort of going back and forth with different ideas. But if I was, and so I do bespoke things now as well, so that process probably takes about 6 weeks. Some things can be made in 3 or 4, it just depends. But I can't ship single items from India, like it comes with, 100 other items.
Of course. And how is that whole process? Is that something you've kind of got used to, or?
Really easy, providing the other end like follow
Does
through.
that bit, yeah.
Yeah, working with Indians, there's a lot of sort of false promises, and they don't always deliver. So it's just sort of really building that relationship. My team out there is all sort of my age, which is great. So it's nice to work with them, and I'm just a lot clearer now on what I want and the quality that I need.
Yeah.
And if you don't deliver, you don't get paid, kind of thing. And that's how you have to work with them, I find.
I think being specific is a massive thing. Like when you're outsourcing any work, if you're not specific, then obviously there's going to be hurdles that you hit along the way. So it's about kind of just trying to tick every
just
single
being
box,
really
isn't it?
clear, yeah. And so their quality control team knows if something comes through and it's not up to scratch, or the gemstone's not good enough, don't send it.
Yeah.
And it takes a while to sort of build that relationship. I've only actually been out there twice. I'm hoping to go next year. But it's more just to show face and just to see, you know, this is what I'm doing. Like, how are you growing? Like, how's that working? And all that kind of thing. And making sure that they can keep up. That I think is the biggest challenge with someone like John Lewis. I've launched into 5 John Lewis stores this year. And online, so that sort of period's really difficult because John Lewis 60-day payment term. Obviously, they pay on the 60th day, and then for their initial order, it's a big order, so I've got to find the funds to pay my workshop ahead.
Cash flow,
because challenges. I guess my biggest challenge is cash flow, and has been this year for sure.
Yeah, I think most big businesses still have that challenge now, so you're definitely not alone.
Yeah, no, I know.
Talk about some of the clients as well. You said you're in 5 John Lewis stores, which
5
is
John Lewis
amazing.
stores, which is really exciting. So I'm in Oxford Street, Peter Jones, which is in Chelsea, Northampton. No, not Northampton. Edit that. Southampton. Milton Keynes and Cheltenham.
Right, okay.
Wow.
So a real mix.
In 3 years.
So that was very exciting, but also like a huge amount of work to get to that point, because you have to do all the display for the shops. That's off my own back and what I think
that's amazing. Like I automatically assume everything you see in the shop is they sort it all out. But
so you do all the display, how it's going to look. It has to be confirmed by them. A lot of the stuff you have to get printed, but it's how they'd like it to be printed. Barcoding, I mean, that's been my worst nightmare this year, when you've never used a barcode machine and suddenly you have to create barcodes.
It sounds like quite no offence, it sounds like quite a boring kind of job.
That's a really exactly. It's really boring. So there's definitely been tears over barcodes this year. But John is the only people I actually have to do that for. So I'm also in Mortimer Mason.
Amazing.
They barcode themselves. And also I'm in 3 Fenwick stores. So Bond Street, Colchester, which is doing really well in Colchester, and Newcastle.
Amazing.
So, yeah.
And am I right in saying that Meghan Markle
Yes, she did.
Walks around. Yeah.
Yeah,
I was going
she
to come on to
did.
this. I
got there first.
This is like mega high.
So I went on your Instagram. I saw Megan's face everywhere.
Yeah.
I call her Megan, by the way.
Do you know her?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
How did that come about?
So a year ago, it was a year. No, actually a year and a half ago. I think after they first got engaged, I sent some gifts on a bit of a whim to where I thought they should go. Wrote a long letter, and sort of forgot about it. Didn't really tell anyone. I think I told my parents and I told Johnny. But it's kind of something you don't really say because you're like, oh, it might get there, it might not. It took her, so that I think was about the April, May time, and it got to sort of end of October, and I definitely sort of, she's definitely never going to wear them.
Yeah.
And then it was her last night of the New Zealand tour that they did. She stepped out wearing them.
How did that feel?
And she looked so amazing. And I think I was at Spirit of Christmas selling jewellery, and I actually just sold that pair to somebody, and I don't sell them that often because they're £350, those ones. And I sat down and I'd been sort of following what she'd been wearing on tour, and I swiped through and I sort of saw the outline of the earrings and I was like, no. And then I swiped again and I just burst into tears.
Yeah.
I texted my family WhatsApp group being like, oh my God, Megan's wearing my earrings. And the first thing one of my sister Lucy said, she said, how do you know they're yours?
Trust
Lucy,
the
I sent
sister.
them. I was
Come
like,
on,
can you not
Lucy.
bring any negative
Lucy,
here?
no.
Yeah.
God, that's goosebumps, man. Like just
I know,
so your
yeah.
first...
And I cried, like literally, it's
I bet you
because
the sobs.
the most photographed woman in the world,
absolutely.
maybe? Aside from like Beyonce
especially
or
at that
someone.
point. Yeah.
So that was just insane, and that really just sort of opened up the brand to all over the world, because it's mainly Americans who buy into that. So they buy her whole outfit.
And she's very much that. Not that I read lots of kind of magazines or anything like on fashion style and things like that, but I do know she is very much like she will go out in an event and a magazine will kind of list everything she's wearing.
So that was mad because obviously I was very unknown. So that's where the second call I make is to my PR company. Meghan Markle's wearing my earrings. Do what you have to do, and that's when they then call all the magazines and get my name credited, and that's kind of how it grows. So that happened, a year ago, and then this year I wanted to send something else, and I didn't know she was going to wear them last time, but I had received sort of an email to say thanks so much for the letter you sent. And I was like, oh, what about the gifts? But obviously they can't say anything.
No.
So this time I sort of took another punt and I sort of emailed her and I said, I'm aware that obviously they've moved to Windsor and that her assistant's changed. Can you, I just wondered if I'd love to write and maybe send something. Can you send a new address? And it took about a week, but they came back to me, copied a couple of people in and said, Emily, send it. That's so kind of you. We'll make sure it gets there.
Wow.
Sent them on the Thursday. She wore them on the Tuesday night.
She's a fan.
And
that
was quite stressful because I just saw it as something I needed to do. So I sort of wrote the letter in my best handwriting. Like, is this the way that I need to do it? Yeah. Exactly. And sort of thought about what I wanted to include in it. And I thinking, oh, she might wear them, but she might wear them in a couple of months. I hadn't launched that collection yet. It wasn't online. It was being photographed, like, as we spoke. I hadn't been on my phone that day. I think I hadn't been at work. So it was a Tuesday, and I sort of went on to Daily Mail in the evening, and I was like, Megan's wearing my earrings. Emailed my photographer being like, are these earrings shot yet? Because everyone's asking and they need to go online. And she was like, they're not, but I'm going to stay and do them. So she did them straight away. And I just had to put those 2 pairs of earrings from that collection straight online on pre-order.
Wow.
And then she wore them a week later as well.
So I was going to say this, at what point does it start to become like, she's wearing my earrings again? Or like,
I don't think it ever does. Because it's like, it's like, what? No, I don't think that's going to grow old.
No. I don't think it ever.
Because it's just so exciting. And then actually she wrote me a letter as well to say thank you this time.
Wow.
In her best handwriting?
Yeah. A little mix.
Well done, Megan. Lazy.
So both. So I know she gets so many mixed reviews, but actually I think she's done She does a lot for women. She does a lot for women in business and charities, and you can't take that away from her.
No.
And an incredible actress.
Yeah. Yeah.
You like
suits?
I
love suits.
Love
Same.
suits.
Relating it back to kind of how, so did you see sales increase dramatically, or was it a bit more of a slow burner?
Definitely dramatically. The first time I did an interview with People magazine, which I think is America's like bigger version of like Hello, OK, all that kind of stuff. And that evening or the next day, I had 11,000 people on my website in one day. So that just shows the kind of people who are interested. So no, I think mainly Americans, 90% of the orders are to America. But then, it just sort of makes people more aware.
And is there anybody else you've tried sending some bits to, or you're not allowed to say, or?
I'm trying to think.
So I've
had various. I've had a real mix. So I've had Ellie Goulding. We sent some jewellery for her new, when she did her last, was it Close to Me, the song that she'd been out of the picture for a while, and she came back with that song, and then the image that she chose for the album cover is like her with my ring on. So that was really cool. And something like that is not going to make you sales, but it's just it's like oh wow, that's actually amazing. Like, my jewelry's in a music video, and so that was really exciting. I've had met Fiona Bruce. People love her.
Nice,
she's so nice. And she bought a necklace for me for Christmas and worn it, and lots of people always sort of, oh, she's on Antiques Roadshow, she's on the BBC or whatever. So I've had a really mixed bag. And then
she has to wear some
like,
good stuff on Antiques Roadshow.
Yeah, exactly. So, and it's a real mix of like, I don't know, made in Chelsea people. I've had Caroline Flack. I know it's not her best week recently.
Yeah,
it's a real mix, and they're constantly, I'm always sending. So my PR company are really good at, we've got this person, do you want to send for it? And I'm quite clear on like who I'd like my jewelry to be on or not. So and then you just wait really.
Yeah, well, it resonates a lot with us because we've always been about influence marketing, brand partnerships, all that kind of thing. So it's so lovely to talk to somebody who is flying that flag and somebody who's willing just to send out jewellery on a whim and just see what happens.
Because that could have cost you hundreds of pounds.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, we talk about strategic gifting, don't we?
Yeah.
And that is deep down, obviously, it's something for you to do something.
And all you need is one person, I'm not saying that obviously without Megan you wouldn't be where you're at now, but all you do need is that one person just to advocate what you do, validate your service, get people all onto the same thing as you, and that's all it takes, and all it takes is sending like an envelope with some jewellery, and not sending. I'm not saying you send it.
No.
But like, and it just does. And there's not enough people doing it. There's not enough people who are actually going out of their way to give value.
I think it's that thing of like you never want to overgift.
No.
But you just need to like think about it, and could I get it? Like, how do I make that work? And
at the right time.
At the right time.
And choose your moments, kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Amazing.
And then you also find like sort of people come to you. So with Carol Middleton, she was bought them for Christmas.
Nice.
Which is great. He'd seen something or his daughter had seen something in Country Life magazine.
Yeah.
So that's where sort of PR really works as well.
Cool.
Okay, I'm mind blown.
Yeah, it's wicked how like life can just be transformed just from that whole turn of events.
So that's really exciting. I mean, a lot of people are like, has it changed your life? No, definitely hasn't changed my life. But
it's changed your business.
Yeah, and I think it sort of puts it a bit more on the map, maybe.
I think what it does, what it can kind of do is speed things up, can't it? Like obviously, I've no doubt, just talking to you right now, that you would have got to where you are right now if it wasn't for that. But it does help just to kind of get you to
definitely.
Really
and I just think it's definitely my sort of social media following. Just love it when something like that happens. That's where you get the best sort of traction as well. So
you've achieved loads in the last 3 or 4 years. So what's going to happen in the next 3 or 4? What plans have you got?
What plans?
The Queen?
The Queen.
Send something.
Media
I actually don't think she. Yeah.
Nice earrings, man.
What is my plan next year? I was thinking about this earlier. So, this year's been quite a lot. So obviously that's happened with Megan. I've had a new website built. I have moved into an office, I've taken someone on part-time, so it's really sort of growing that and how I'm going to grow, sort of continue to grow. Who should I be taking on next? What kind of person? And I think that's been another challenge this year. The person that I've taken on, she's great. She helps with everything. But it's like, do I need to be more focused for the next person that I take on? Do they just need to do social media or just need to help me with this? I think continuing to grow with my stockists, but I don't want loads of stockists. So the ones I've got, I really want to focus on and sort of grow that. And just sort of keep growing my internet sales. But I'm doing, so at the moment I've got 8 collections online, which you can just go on the website and buy. And I've also starting to do even more bespoke stuff. So I'm doing a lot of engagement rings and things like that, which just keeps it really interesting. In terms of growing, I don't know. I feel like I've grown a lot this year. I always say you've got to keep saying yes to things. And I think in Jan I'll make a plan of what I sort of hope to achieve this year. So I think that's the hardest thing, is sort of keeping up with things. I
also don't think you should go too far. Like, keep it to the year and then just next year make another one.
Definitely, and that's kind of what I do, rather than I don't
that's
have.
Exactly the same as us.
I think I started off thinking, I'll do it from home. It'll bring me in a nice little salary. And it'll sort of tick along, but it's become a lot bigger than I expected. And now you're kind of riding that. You want it to stay the same and get bigger, because I'm not working every hour just because I love it. You're working because you're trying to really achieve something and, get a decent
Do you love the process of it all though?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. There's some things I think everyone's like, do you design every week? No, I never design. I design maybe once a year, like do 2 collections. I think the whole time is spent doing business admin, which you just don't realise until you have your own business.
You do a time audit. I did a time audit the other day. I just kind of looked at all of the things I do in my day, and it's really, really kind of a useful tool to do and like to have a look at actually where you spend your time. And once you see that actually something is taking up a majority of your time that doesn't probably need to take up a majority of your time or can be outsourced, then it's just like, okay, I need to kind of reevaluate what I'm doing.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's something I need to think about this year, and just get all my costings like really down. Because this is always something my dad says to me as well. He's, he knows exactly how much a potato is going to cost. Yeah. From like what it goes into, where it's going to go, the travel that it's everything. And he's always like, so how much? And I was like, I don't quite know. Like, I'm just, because
especially
it's
with
having that time to
sit down and go
do that, or maybe someone help you as well, because there's so many things you have to learn with starting a business that you just have no idea about before. So it's all those kind of things which, you can.
And there's all those moving parts as well that you can't measure the ROI off, like the stuff with like Megan or Ellie Goulding, something you can't say to somebody, yes, this is going to make me this much money because this is going to happen. There's so many different avenues that it can take. So we get the same. Our dad is a very, very big, been in business for his whole life, and he's coming around to the whole influencer marketing stuff as well. We're trying to explain it to him, and he's like, well, yeah, but what are you going to make of that? And we're like, well, we can't tell you, but we know. And it's we've never really had that time.
Yeah. Building brand's not a huge thing in their eyes, but it's like short-term revenue. Like what we're going to get, what we're going to get. Yeah. And it's a different business world now. It's hugely different.
And I also pay my workshop in US dollars as well, so it's always working that out. And obviously it's a bit up and down at the moment. So that's another thing that I've sort of got to take into consideration and be better at. But it's just learning. Like things I think in Jan and Feb, maybe when I'm slightly quieter, that maybe I need to change my bank or I need to do this. You just learn who's really helpful. And I think when it is just you, people do definitely take advantage. And I think you just have to, you become quite hard to
ruthless,
it. Ruthless. I think you do, because in the beginning you're like, oh, okay, I'll take the knocks. I'll get upset if someone's jewelry doesn't come right or whatever. And then you're actually like, people take advantage and you're like, okay, you wouldn't do that if it was a normal shop, so why do you think it's okay to do that? And this year I've definitely thought I'm not going to lose sleep over ordering a piece of jewellery that's maybe £50 to ensure it's going to be here for Christmas. I'll say I don't think it's going to be here for Christmas, because I just can't bear if it doesn't, because it has a knock-on effect on you. You definitely can't but not take it personally.
People's expectations.
Yeah, definitely. And actually, it's amazing because you care so much because it's your business. You actually, and there's been a couple of times recently, like I think my mum bought some bedside tables from a big company, and they said it would be a 6-week wait, and then it was a 12-week wait, and it's just no one gets in contact. And you just think, oh, well, people like that do it all the time, and people like that are delayed, or the stock's delayed, or whatever, getting to John Lewis. You're like, actually, the grand scheme of things, like, it's going to happen. You can only do your best.
And it's a bit, like Jack said, it's not about setting those, you kind of have to set those expectations, then over-deliver instead of under-deliver. And if you can do that, and if you know kind of the parameters in order to do that,
definitely.
then it's then easy, isn't it?
Definitely.
Where can people find you? Instagram,
Instagram, definitely. That's my biggest social. Yeah, for sure. I'm not really a massive Facebook fan. So no, it's at Emily Mortimer Jewellery is my Instagram, and then emilymortimer.co.uk is my website. But I've got an option now, so you can come and book, sort of, to come and see me at Brightwell Barnes, which is where my new office is. Or if you wanted to come try something on, you could. Or there's also a click and collect option, so you can just come and collect it from there. So that would be the main place, really. Awesome. In Suffolk, you can also go into Fenwick and Colchester, and I also have a few bits in a store called Out and About, which they've got a shop in Framlingham and Ardley.
Oh, nice.
Which is more of a country store. So no, that works really well.
So you're spreading across.
Yes,
amazing.
Definitely.
Brilliant.
Big question.
Are we nearly finished?
No, we are.
This is gone like quick.
We've got to get this question in.
Sorry, I'll get this question in. Sorry, Emily, you've been a star. Thanks
amazing.
So much.
You have been amazing.
One question, just to finish things off, and I'm sorry to our listeners who will want to be hearing more, because I certainly am. What is the best thing about running a business?
The best thing.
The best thing.
You always do that, by the way. Whenever I ask a question, you always come and go, what's the best thing? It's like
the best thing. Probably that I have unlimited access to any jewellery that I want to wear.
Have unlimited money.
No, sadly not. Otherwise I probably wouldn't be here right now. I'd be on the beach. I would have closed up for Christmas already. Probably unlimited. And also it's just having your own time. So actually, if I work hard enough and I want to leave at lunchtime on a Friday and have Friday afternoon off, I can. And it's just having that sort of, I think that's probably the best thing. And the feeling of making something for someone that you love. And that's just, you can't beat that, really.
Amazing. Great answer.
Definitely.
Great answer.
Emily, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day. And thank you for being on the podcast.
No problem.
Thanks.
Thank you.